it's lovely to see you, Mary. How are you? I'm
Mhm.
talking
Right.
about you here, but I couldn't actually see your name anywhere. So I've
Okay.
just discovered your Mary at iPhone, which is
Yeah.
absolutely Mary.
Okay.
What I'm just saying to everybody, which is what happens, isn't it? That when people get talking and somebody mentions that they've had an experience or an insight or they've learned of something and they
Yeah.
share it with others, it is such a powerful thing, really, isn't it?
It's
So
absolutely great. It's great, and it's lovely to have an opportunity in a group like this to share information like that.
yeah, I think that's really the thing, isn't it? And this is what it's all about here, because there's a wealth of wonderfully wise women, wise and ageless and timeless and all kinds of other things here. And it's just a great place to share all, even
Yeah.
if we do, sometimes there things come up. Sometimes we're talking about, we're chatting with the other people who've feature guests in and that kind of thing. And some people might say to me, I didn't really agree with that, or I didn't believe that, or whatever else.
Mhm.
That's good too, because we
Yeah.
learn to stay anchored in our own truth. What resonates with us is really what it's all about. And
Yeah.
sometimes there could be a whole conversation where, it really doesn't hit home at all. And other times there's that one little nugget that somebody, even, somebody who leaves a comment in the chat box
Yeah.
or comes in and asks a question, and that's exactly what somebody needs to hear. So I love that. So Mary, let's start with you this evening, because
Okay.
what I said to everybody, we're kind of a three-way thing. We've got sound with you. Lynn is going to talk about breath. I mean, I'm dying to hear about this. This is something we do all the time. We breathe, and yet we're not breathing consciously, and there's so much to learn about that. So I'm looking very much forward to speaking with you, Lynn, too. And then later on, Deborah Mendes is coming in. I'm not sure if she's here at the moment. She's had another meeting, and she's going to join us towards the end. And she had been telling me about a light technology. I'm going to say product, because I believe that it's patches, but I'm interested in the kind of science and technology that that's all about. It's about using our own light and reflecting it back in. So we'll get to her later on. But let's talk to you, Mary. What on earth drew you to sound bath therapy in the first place?
What drew me to it actually happened a couple of years ago when I was just what do you call surfing the net, and I was interested in tuning forks, and I have a set here to show you. You see those?
Yes, yes.
The
Beautiful, Mary.
set of tuning forks that I got,
Yes,
and the first one is C, and it's in the key. The next one is D. Sorry, what is it? Can you see it there?
yes, yeah.
E, F, G, A, B, C, and high C. And it was a man called Dr. I have his name here now, John uh, Beaulieu, Beaulieu. And he started to research sound and healing sound and vibrations and all of that. And he has a website, biosonics.com.
Okay.
And on the website, he has for sale tuning forks like I've just showed you.
Yeah.
They're precisely gauged to certain healing frequencies. Which and he said there's a lot of shoddy ones on the market, but the ones that he has are very very precisely made. He has books and CDs. He has tuning forks to the planets,
Stop.
and
Brilliant.
seemingly obviously the planets have a lot to do with how we're reacting because we're all influenced by them.
Yeah.
He has body tuners. He has brain tuners. He has and he has a book called Human Tuning, which I read. So that
Yeah.
sort of sparked my interest. So that was the first thing that led me up to it. Second thing was a book called Song of the Spine,
Yes.
which I showed you before, I think,
You
and it
did.
was Dr. Julie Leslie Wider, and she actually drew uh, a little diagram of all your vertebrae, and each one has its own vibration, which I never knew.
No.
I never knew. So she says, your C1, which is your Atlas one at the back of your neck, is 130.8.81 hertz, and then goes all the way through the thoracic one, and then the lumbar spine. And so which one, if you have a sore back or if you have, where is it? There it is.
Yes, yeah, I can see it, Mary.
Yeah. Okay. So that was the second
Whoa.
book.
So
Okay.
I'm jumping in just so that I'm
Yes.
clear. So what
Yeah.
that Song of the Spine, the book,
Yeah.
and what she has done is she has put out each of the vertebrae and then the relevant frequency it resonates with.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Wow.
then, and I was interested in that because I met a lady years ago now, her name just escapes me, and she was a color therapist. And I got friendly with her just by phone. And she said, if you send me a picture of you, or I have a little child with special needs, and she said, send me a picture of your daughter, and I will do a spinal kind of a picture of from looking at your picture. And so she gave me a picture of my spine, and there were loads of colors missing because each vertebrae has a color as well, and it's the colors of the rainbow. So I had a few little colors, and then there was some missing, and then there was some more. And she said, the ones that are missing are the colors you need to get into your life. You see?
Yeah.
See? So then my daughter, then she did her one, and hers were, a lot of them were just blank.
Mhm.
So she said she really needs more color in her life. And that led me on to this lady here, who is Healing in Color by Mary Bassano.
Healing in Color by Mary
And
Bassano.
music, and music.
Music
So
and
you see, and so music is sound. But what she said was something that just resonated with me. Where is it? She said, music is audible color, and color is visible music. Which just, I zinged when I heard that.
that's
So
it. I'm going to make a note of that. Music is audible.
music is audible color.
Color. Yeah. And
And
color
then,
is audible music.
no, color is visible music.
Visible music. Thank you.
And
That-
in Mary's book, I don't know where, if she's dead or alive or that, but she said, she did a lovely, this is a beautiful book. She did a lovely picture of your vertebrae, not your vertebrae, your chakras.
Mhm.
And each chakra has a color.
Mhm.
And this is so exciting. Each chakra has a color. And so there is a music for each one. So there's red music and orange music and yellow music.
Mhm.
What's the next one? Green, blue, indigo, violet.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she did a very clever thing. She did a little thing here. Let's say green music. I'm going to show you that. You probably won't be able to see it, but
I can. Yes.
okay. Now, so green music, this classical music, it would be Melody in F by Rubinstein, or Clair de Lune by Debussy, which is green music. I love that. I have that here on a CD. But then if you're a new age person, she gives Fairy Ring by Mike Rowland. I don't know who he is. Ocean by Larkin, and Pan Flute by Lamir. So in this book, you can go to your chakra, your red color, and you can say, I want a bit of red music today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I want a bit of, I feel like a bit of green music today. And it's all in here. It's amazing.
Mary, can I ask you then, does it also follow that if you're playing music simply because it's the kind of music you generally have, or it's forced upon you, in certain
Yeah, oh
environments,
yes, yeah.
that it actually may well be what's causing your headache or your backache or your inability to think clearly or whatever else? Isn't that
I think it does for me. It does for me.
Yeah.
If I'm, say, shopping and I go into a shop and they have this awful, soulless just music, I'll just walk back out again. It actually disturbs me.
Yeah.
But these all led me to the sound bath. So when Lynn, who's coming on later, said to me, I have a present for you. I know somebody who does sound bath. Are you interested? And I said, I would love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So that's what got me out to Greystones to meet Elke Sheehy,
Al-Kashif,
who does the sound bath.
making a
Yeah.
note. And she's in Greystone. So, okay. So tell us what happened there.
Right. So I asked Elke if she'd give you a little bit of information on what I saw in the room. So I'm just moving that. So I went into the room. It was comfy. It was warm. We had a little chat beforehand. And she just took down a few medical details and, what little symptoms I had. And you don't have to reveal anything if you don't want to.
Okay.
So you can just share what you feel you're comfortable in sharing. She just takes down your address, your mobile, your email, and a few little things maybe that that you want to address during the sound bath.
Mhm.
So I looked around and I said, oh, these are lovely instruments. And she said, they're actually tools because it's not music, it's sound.
Yes.
So she's listed them here. Tibetan and crystal sound bowls. She has tuning forks like the ones I showed you. She has tuned pipes. She has a monochord, an ocean drum, to name a few. The room was just all the way around with these beautiful little bowls and cymbals and things. And, you know, I didn't want to know the name of them. I just wanted to experience them.
Yes. Yeah.
So she decides what you need and for how long. So she also decides on the sequence that she'll play them. And when you lie down on this, it's what is it? It's like a massage bed, and she'll cover you up with a lovely blanket, and she'll put either a weighted or an unweighted mask over your eyes, so you just totally, utterly relax. There's no sound in the beginning, which is really glorious. So then what she says here is, my aim is for you to relax and let all this lovely sound just wash over you, and you just try and absorb it into your body. And she said, what needs to get deeper will, if there's no resistance. So you might resist some of them, you know, the way some people resist healing, you know, because they're not ready, and then suddenly they're ready and they'll accept it. And she said something interesting. She has a few boxes of tissues around, because she said sometimes people get quite emotional. Yes. And something will be released and they'll cry it out, or they'll maybe laugh, or they'll sneeze or something. Yeah. So then when it's over, it took about an hour maybe. I didn't feel the hour going by. I really didn't. I mean, I'm dying to have another one. And I'm very grateful to Lynn for introducing me to Elke. Elke's quite shy, so she said she didn't want to talk about this. So I'm hoping that I can send her the recording, so she'll know. She also says not to eat a very heavy meal beforehand, no coffee beforehand, or a big heavy meal. And she said to allow 2 hours for the first session. And to be honest with you, it did take that long. By the time we chatted and relaxed, and then she did the session, and then the session or the bath, and then we had a little chat afterwards. But I just felt this was so beautiful. I mean, there's forest bathing now.
Yes.
There's Father night, cold bathing and hot bathing, and you know, all of this. And this is to me another part of that bathing.
Yes, the immersing in an experience.
Immersing in either the trees and the fresh air, or walking by the beach. But this is very special, and I'm absolutely delighted to be able to share it with the girls today.
Can I ask you something? Does Elke intuit the kinds of sounds you're going to need, or is it based on what she feels you've been talking about? So if you have a particular issue, health issue, or otherwise, or is it intuitive? How does she decide, what sounds she's going to use?
Well, Trina, I think it's a bit of both, because depending on what you are free to share with her, she would maybe select certain tools. So I didn't actually ask her that, but she's been doing this for quite a long time. And I just felt, when I chatted to her for the few minutes in the beginning, that I trusted that she'd know what to do.
Yeah. And so what kind of sounds did you experience?
What did she do? There was a lovely thing, I think, what did she call it here now? I'm looking at this because I don't, an ocean drum. And whatever she did, I felt as if I was lying on a beach beside the sea, and the waves were coming in and out. Now that's very healing, I think. It wasn't a note, or it wasn't a sort of tinkly sound like a drum, but it was a swishing sound. And that particular one I loved. I would have loved more of it, and I think I might say it to her, gosh, if I put my hand up, will you do that again? So the other way you can, when you get to know people, you can do that. But for my first one, I just stayed quiet. I loved they were big, they were like tubes. They were almost lining the wall, and she ran her fingers over them, and it was just magic, really it was. So I was on a high, I think, for a couple of days afterwards. I really was.
Really? She came out floating. Can I ask you, how did you go in? I mean, was there a marked contrast in how you felt afterwards?
Oh yes, there was. There
Yeah.
was definitely a marked contrast.
Mhm.
And in a way, I think just maybe one or two little doors were opened.
Mm.
I couldn't say, oh, that's cured me, because when I was speaking to Elka before I came on, she said people sometimes call it sound healing. We
Yeah.
never stop healing. We're
Yeah.
always healing. So you're not going to go in sick and come out well. It's not going to heal you in one go.
Mm.
But what it's doing is it's helping you to, I suppose, get in touch with the wounded part of you, the little bit of you that's afraid, the little bit of you that's the child that maybe wants to speak out,
Mm.
and you're afraid to, the little part of you that has something important to say and you're afraid to say it. I think it does all of that. It just calms you, and it files down all these rough edges. That's what I felt anyway.
That's a lovely way of putting it. It files down all these rough edges. And something you
Yeah.
mentioned there I find interesting, because you do find that as women, those of us in midlife and beyond, and those who
Yeah.
go through menopause in particular, this
Mm.
this it arrives at a time when there's a real resistance to
Yes.
change. Um,
Yes.
and very often what's coming is a much better version of your life, and yet we resist that change so much. And I'm just thinking, I wonder, is it a really useful what would we say, practice for people, particularly going through menopause? I mean, for example, does it help with sleep? Does it help with sort of calming the nervous system? Does it help with, all of those issues that really do come into, that we become perhaps more aware of as we grow older?
Well, uh, I think it would, if you allow it. And I was reading about Mary Bassano. This is this lady here.
Yeah.
She was a social worker, and she also did sort of music therapy. And she used to work in hospitals, working in hospitals as a music therapist. I mean, I think that's just so amazing.
Mhm.
So there would be a lot of people needing healing there. I don't know whether she worked with children or, old people, but she worked in a hospital, and she was regarded very highly. So, I
And you
suppose to
say
answer your
what?
question,
Is
which
she has she passed? Is she
I
still?
think I think she has, because I was trying to Google her, and I couldn't find her.
Yeah.
I just couldn't find her, and the book was published in 1992. So
Okay. It's a few
yeah,
years ago now. Yeah, but
you would
it's
probably say it would help. It help with menopause. It would help with. I mean, anything helps with menopause. It's not a very. I didn't find it very pleasant anyway.
a lot of
I would have loved this at that time.
Yes, and also for someone like you, because music, sound, frequency is really important to, I
Mm.
imagine, your ear and your voice, your own ability, because you have
Oh,
wonderful intonation, Mary, and it's one of the very beautiful things about, listening to you speak. There's this beautiful intonation and cadence in
thank
your
you.
voice
Thank
that's very hypnotic. It's beautiful. So I imagine that it's something that was, that you felt completely at home with,
Oh,
that.
I did exactly that. I thought, oh, in fact, Elke was saying that some of the people that come to her do fall asleep. So she has to be very gentle when she wakes them up.
Mm, mm. Love to know what the dreams are, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Be able to write them down at that point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you want to do it again, and I think you certainly spoke really highly of it. I think it's something that I'm really curious about now. I think if
Yeah.
and the fact that you say that this kind of therapy is used in hospitals and that as well, aren't there wonderful things coming available?
But,
That the sort of conventional medicine is more open to now.
well, I
Uh,
think
than
this,
it was.
this is in America now. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
happening here, but wouldn't it be wonderful if it was?
Absolutely. As somebody said, I was listening to a doctor interviewed recently. It's a doctor within surgery, and what they said was that what we call conventional medicine is actually the complementary or the alternative medicine, and what
Ah,
we call the complementary and alternative medicine is actually the very natural, conventional medicine in a sense. It's really what we need to heal. Everything else is alternative or complementary in some way. And I thought it was
right.
an interesting way of looking at medicine,
Mm,
that
mm,
the introduction of drugs, medicines, and treatments are, something that is done, to complement the body's ability to heal itself.
mm.
So I love hearing about things like that. It's really good. Somebody has asked me to ask you, if do you have a price, a range of where in the ballpark it might be for someone to
It,
a
I
little bit
think
more?
it's about 60.
Okay,
I
it's
think
very
it's something. Yeah, I think that's what it was. But Lynn gave me a gift of it.
ah,
Uh, but I think that's what it is. Yeah. But it certainly
exactly.
was. I would be worth it.
Oh, it would. Yeah,
Worth it. Yeah.
absolutely. That sounds very reasonable altogether.
Yeah.
Mary, thank you very much for coming into
Okay.
the. Before you go, Mary, are you working on anything at the moment? Are you recording anything or writing new songs?
I'm actually taking a break from it, but because I just felt a bit empty.
Oh,
So I think when the little ideas come, I'll start again. But just at the moment, I just didn't feel that I had a writer's block, let's say.
yeah,
So,
that's the right thing
so,
to do, though, isn't it?
yeah, I
Because
just take a break. Yeah,
yes, yeah, and let us know when new things come. But
sure.
Mary, great to talk to you again, and thank
Thank
you
you.
so
Thank
much.
you.
And it's lovely because this is a real family affair. We're going to Lynn. Many of you know Lynn as well, is Mary's daughter. Lynn, thank you so much. We had a conversation as well. You can unmute yourself, Lynn, if you wouldn't mind. We
Mm-hmm.
had a conversation as well on one occasion, and you began to tell me about something you've been looking at. And now it's a little while ago now, and that was breath work. Again, this is something that we hear of. We hear of people having wonderful experiences when they begin to, delve into that a little further and learn lots more about the practices. But you really did have some very good things to say about breath work. What drew you to it in the first place? Can I ask you that?
Oh my God. What drew me to it was I was dating a guy and he had done it. And because I'm always in, I love the alternative methods and I love anything alternative. I'll try anything, you know.
Yeah.
And he said, you should try. What he said to me was, what got me was, he said that he tried sort of normal therapy and he'd been on, you know, a journey in his life. He'd had lots of stresses. And he said he did a session and he burst into tears. And I was like, wow, tell me more. And he said in the sort of the breathing session, you sort of go into a kind of a relaxed state and you kind of go almost like dreamlike state. And you can get the sort of the answers to your little problem or whatever. And he said in it, he sort of went back to an early memory of himself as a young child. Actually, I'll try to keep it reasonably confidential. I'm always wary of, but he basically, that can happen. He said he basically had an experience where he felt like he could hold his younger self and kind of give him a hug. And he said he bawled crying, you know, and he came out of it just feeling so elated and like he'd just healed an old wound, really. And
And
yeah.
was this with a guide going through that practice, or was that
Mm.
something he did on his own?
It's with a guide, yeah. So you have a breath worker, and we do a lot of training. I'm actually trained now. I don't have my piece of paper yet, but I'm trained now. I've done the 5 modules. So I'm trained to give sessions now as well. Though I'm still taking my time with it. I still consider myself just going slow with it. But yeah, you can do it yourself when you learn how, but you have someone there minding you and basically observing your breath and just, just molding the breath to try and get it as relaxed as possible. We're basically trying to get the breath back to the way you would breathe if you were a newborn baby, which is if you watch a newborn baby or an animal breathing, their belly, chest, fall, belly, chest, fall, belly, chest, fall. And when you go back to that, you reach a stage where your body finally says, okay, I can let go of all this stuff I've been holding on to and get back to who I really am, you know? I'd say that's in a nutshell. That's kind of what happens. Yeah. So amazing things can happen. Yeah.
So when you are breathing, and look, I know very
Mm,
little about it, but I was looking it up, and there's a number of different exercises depending on what it is that whether it wants
mm,
to calm yourself or energize yourself, or as you say, with
yeah.
the trauma healing, or
Mm,
even as a meditative practice as well.
mm.
Have you been using? Are these certain areas that you've been using? Yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, there is a lot. There's a lot of different modalities, and as basic as you can do one right now. Just you can put your hand on your belly and see, are you breathing into your belly? And if you are, then your body's kind of saying to you, I'm kind of relaxed now. Whereas if you're breathing up high and your belly's not moving at all, usually that means you can start talking to your own body and saying, okay, I guess I'm not relaxed now. And even when I get nervous, and I still get really nervous, I kind of go, okay, soften the belly into the belly, there's one right there, and so you mentioned one of the modalities is the Wim Hof, and we actually did a bit on the Wim Hof in one of our trainings. We did the ice bath challenge, and so that's great. So it depends what you want. If you wanted to go in and kind of clear some old emotions, the one that I learned is called conscious connected breathing. But the Wim Hof is also, like, they're all great. I'm not one to say this is the only way to do it. The Wim Hof is great. I would call that a very masculine way to method. It's about more energy, pushing through, this kind of breathing. And the ice bath is amazing. It really is. Like, they say there's nowhere to hide in the ice bath, because 15 of us went into the ice bath. I was the only one who failed the challenge because I couldn't let go. So I'm not going to sit here and say, I know I'm healed yet. I'm not fixed yet. I'm still got my layers of the onion coming off, but I couldn't let go. You're supposed to sit in the ice and breathe until, maybe some of you have done it, but you're supposed to breathe until the breathing calms down. You blow your hand away, and then eventually you surrender to the cold, and your body, again, you let go of something. But I couldn't do it. And the beautiful Wim Hof man whispered in my ear, he says, "What are you still fighting?" I was like, I don't know, but I'm going to keep at it until I find it. But I'm definitely shedding layers of the onion, but I'm not healed yet. I'm still learning, but I love the process.
What's interesting about that is that you've learned that you're not healed yet. I mean, many of us think
Sure.
we're done, that's gone.
Oh,
And then
never ends.
just when we think we're sailing along nicely, as you say, another layer. And of course, the more layers that you peel, the more comes up to sort of take over, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Every day is a school in this business. And so, do you find that it helps you in all kinds of other areas? For example, you have beautiful skin, Lynn. Are you sleeping better? Is there, what other?
Well, I mean, God, it's so hard. Yeah, it's really, I was trying to just give a few nutshell points. It's really hard, but I mean, I'll share my latest experience, because everyone has a different experience with it. Depends what you're holding on to, and like Mum said, you kind of have to be ready to let go. Like in my learning, I learned a good lesson. I did a session on someone who, when we sat down to have our chat, she said, because something very sad had happened with her, she says, "I don't want to go there. Don't talk about that thing," And now in hindsight, what I would have done now, I would have said to her, "No problem, but maybe we won't do the breathing," because you want to be ready to feel the thing, that you're sort of, and you might not even know. Something might come up that maybe you're not even aware of, but the breathing won't push you any further than you're ready. But I'll share my latest thing. So I hit a wall with the breath work. I'm doing it 3 years, and I found that I was doing the breath work, I do sessions on myself, and I felt like nothing was happening, because I'd had fireworks in the first year, insights, this and that, my whole life changed. And then something happened. I think something upsetting might have happened, and so we also learned about our sabotages. So my self-sabotage is I sort of withdraw, and I go into myself, and I kind of shut out the world. Some other people's sabotages they work too hard. Everybody has a different self-sabotage behavior, which is basically, I don't want to see the thing that I don't want to see, So I noticed this was happening to me, and I realized, what, I'm tired of feeling numb. My thing is going numb. And so last week we did a retreat, and we set intentions, and one of my intentions was, I feel all my feelings. So that's one thing we do in the breathwork, is we set an intention for your session. We have our chat, and then we set an intention. So mine from last week was, I feel all my feelings, and that was a really powerful one for me, because I realized, as a singer, I'm often trying to cut my feelings off. I sing at funerals almost every day, and I get quite nervous singing. So I realized, like a lightning bolt, with the help of the breath work and the sharing in the community, that I'm cut off from my feelings. So yes, I wasn't feeling bad. I was just feeling just fine. But I realized you can't pick and choose the feelings. If you want to feel the joy, you have to be willing to feel the anxiety, the worry, all this stuff. So I said to myself, okay, I'm ready now. I'm ready for all of it. So I was taking, I'll just share that I was taking a very small amount of a a drug that helped me to mute my panic, my anxiety. Last week I stopped it. Been taking them 10 years. Last week I stopped taking it. So I'm not doing that anymore. And so now it's funny, I feel anxious now, and I'm like, I used to feel really embarrassed and like scared of the anxiety, and now I'm like, no, this is it too. I'm feeling something, and I want to feel it all. Like Mama said again with the colors, I want all the colors. That means the worry with a hint of excitement, this. So if you want to do this kind of conscious connected breath work, I would say to people, you want to be ready to feel, because you're going to feel. And there's a lot of tears. There's a lot of tears. Yeah.
Can I ask you then, Lynn, you've just explained that incredibly beautifully. And thank you so much for doing that, because as people, I always say, when people are speaking with passion and they're describing an experience that they had, we really resonate with that, and something comes home. And so that's really important that you just express that the way you did. And thank you so much. And so then my next question is, what might scare people off is that they're exactly that. They don't want to feel all the feelings. It's that they'd be afraid of what starts pouring at that point. Is there a way of doing it? God, I suppose what I'm trying to say is dip your toe in that ice bath,
Sure. You can go easy, like Mum or my breath worker, Nadia. So I do breath work with a lady called Nadia Haw, who's just amazing. Nadia Haugh. Now she's booked up for, people are getting word of this, so she's booked up forever. And there's 6 of us now who are qualified. So we're starting to kind of take some of the load, but we're still kind of beginners, and she's the one you want. You can go easy. You can just do an easy session. But, to answer your question, you really have to feel safe. If you're going to feel your feelings, you have to feel safe first. That means feeling safe with your breath worker. Sometimes I'd go in for sessions with Nadia and she'd be crying about something already. So she's willing to go there first. She'd be sad about her son or upset about something. So automatically I feel permission to get emotional then if I need to. So yeah, she really makes you feel safe. And kind of she's also doing the work herself. It's not like a counselor or somebody's just there going, now what's your emotions, it's not like that. It's like we're all in it together and daring to feel together. Now it's not easy, to feel feelings. It's not easy, but yeah, I think if everyone's doing it, and that's why that we also have breathing circles. And some days it's all about just quite joyful, quite lighthearted. Some days everyone's in tears by the end of it, So that kind of almost gives you permission. Yeah. So safety, you got to feel safe and okay, I'm going to go push a little bit further. But like I say, you won't go any further than you're ready to go, and you just take it nice and easy.
And is there something that you can do for yourself? For example, a lot of people, some people meditate each day, or is there a way? I mean, this is something we do all the time. We breathe. Is there a way of breathing? I know that you expressed that this sort of softening belly and how you've done, but is there a practice that you do, a rhythm or a kind of breathing that people could do just for themselves each morning to set them up for the day?
I guess so. I mean, really you want to get, the belly is a big thing. And actually what's sounds funny is how difficult it is to relax your exhale. And it sounds, you probably know, it's really hard because a lot of people, they think their exhale is relaxed, but actually it's often, or it's, to relax your exhale is quite difficult. If you were to maybe lie on your back and see if your breath is going in, reaching the belly first, even low down, right low down to the pelvic floor even. Yeah. And then once it's there, then you can see if you can invite it up to the chest. And then both should move, almost like a wave. Your belly, chest. You could try that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and just see if you can start there. And I always think of it is the diet. So it's supposed to be just the diaphragm that moves when we breathe. That's the muscle that's underneath the rib cage. Really, just that muscle should be moving. But actually, most of us have the neck involved. We've got millions of other muscles working that don't need to be working at all. It should just be the the diaphragm. So when we're sleeping, we're probably breathing correctly, but when we're awake, we probably all go to get the straitjacket on and and then of course you're not getting enough oxygen. Your body's getting the signal the whole time of this is tense. Let's get into tense mode. So breathing is a great way to tell your body you're fine. You're fine. It's a way to kind of outsmart that panic thing. Yeah, but the sessions are great. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, I interrupted you there.
Yeah.
Breathing is a way to tell your body that you're fine.
Yeah.
That is so important, isn't it? Because we often, we recite that, I'm safe, I'm loved, I'm, well, or whatever it is. But to know that the very next breath is absolutely safe, and it's, and at the end of the day, it's the one thing that we take for granted as well. Our next breath, it's totally free. It's available to us all the time.
Yeah.
It's a really
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Lynn, thank you so much. Do you ever envisage yourself? Now, you said that you would work with Nadia and begin to take on some of her practice as well. Do you see that happening anytime soon? Are you going to be ready for that soon?
I'm already taking people. I sort of don't charge people as much because I still see myself as, like I say, I don't feel 100% like I want to feel ready to do it. You know what I mean? I don't want to, and I'm there. I feel about 80% ready now. So I will see people, but it's kind of, I do tell them, look, I'm kind of just starting at this. And if they're okay with that, then they'll still get a good session. But I still feel like a beginner. I'm just did my module 5 recently. So I just did my first apprenticeship last week, which is incredible. Yeah. Oh, I just wish if you could all take a snapshot of what it was like. It's people come in and they're all, tight and twisted, and they come out all just free and full of insight, and it's great. Yeah, it's really great. Changed my life. It really has changed my life, I have to say.
That's what it is. And it's lovely where your journey is taking you. You're so open to what is next and what's coming towards you. And it's a beautiful way to be. And are you writing a little, or are you concentrating solely on this at the moment?
Well, it's funny because Mom, I also got a writer's block with music. And also I thought I don't even like it anymore. I just don't like the music business. I don't like any of it. And now I find that I've got this other thing that I love, breath work. It sort of takes the pressure off singing, and I find myself liking it again. I spent 3 hours last night on the couch just playing the guitar and singing, and I was like, oh, I didn't even have to tell myself to do that. So it's creeping back in sometimes. I'll just find myself singing and I'll go, okay, now I've come back to it, but in a more authentic way. Because come on, I was singing Danny Boy, tra la 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 la, it was so phony and not me and not real. And I needed to get clear it all away and go back to what's my authentic relationship to music, and how do I really love it, and to do that you almost have to kind of let something die, and then be in the nothingness for a while, and then let something new grow out of it, and that's hard. That's the hardest part, is this death, rebirth, little mini deaths, rebirth cycles we go through. I think that they're so hard.
And trusting that there's always
yes
transition or what would you say, evolution in some way, because we don't lose anything. We're always gaining. We're bringing it with us onto the next level. Lynn, thank you so very much for bringing that to us today. It's fascinating listening to you. Anna said, sorry, I'm missing the chat box there. Just oh God, honestly, today I'm in the air.
You need breath work, Trina.
I need breath work. Thank you. I do. I need sound baths, breath works, and all kinds of lighting. We're going there too. Just fascinating, Mary. Thank you, Mary. Sounds like pure heaven. Oh, Yvonne, you were talking about Mary. Totally makes sense. Playing music to an unborn baby is good if they have it for their mathematical brain. Thank you. So I obviously wasn't played enough music when I was unborn. Anna says it's just an ego death for the soul to emerge. Thank you, Anna. Thank you for that. And Yvonne, or sorry, Lynn, thank you so much for that too. And we can keep an eye on your development. When you are ready, I would say there's a queue of people who are looking forward to coming and speaking with you. I'm not so sure you'll have many doing any kind of Wim Hof method.
Yeah.
Maybe one or two might be brave enough. But whatever else you've got, we're looking forward to seeing it. And the very best of luck. Thank you so much for coming and sharing that with us and giving us a real insight into breath work.
Thank you. Thank
And if
you.
anybody has any questions, please come back and ask Lynn about that, or come back towards the end if you're still here. Thank you so much, Lynn. I'm going to go to Deborah. Deborah Mendes is Deborah. Come and say hello, will you please?
Hello, sorry it's a bit
Thank you.
late.
Good to see you. How are you? Glowing. You're gorgeous. I love that.
Oh, well, you know, it's being on here. You're making me glowing.
Oh,
I'm
there
just
you are.
reflecting it
Yes.
back at you.
Yeah, we're all about the light. Now, actually, I was complaining about my lighting here. Everybody else looks beautiful. I'm just looking at Lynn and Mary and everybody else. There's beautiful lighting all around them. And for some reason, I'm peeping out of a dark hole. So I'm trying to get the whole idea of light better. But you're the lady about this. I know that you've been with us before and you talked about what Mary mentioned earlier, forest
Yeah.
bathing.
Yeah.
And you've done a lot of work in that area.
Yeah.
You know, and there we are. We're talking about all kinds of immersing ourselves this evening.
Yeah.
But you have something really interesting to share with us about a kind of new kind of technology.
Yeah.
You know, we're all about doing things the natural way, but actually, very often technology is a really interesting and useful tool as well. So, do you want to tell us about what it is that you've been exploring?
Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, Trina, thank you first of all for bringing us all together, because I found those two conversations very interesting. I'd love to explore and talk to these people more. Had a very interesting aha moment with Lynn. Do I actually let myself experience joy enough? So you know, there is a lot of work that I still need to be doing. I'm going through a bit of an ego death at the moment as well. The transformation. Am I going to let go of my career and move into this new business I'm doing and travel to Santa Monica? All these things. I'm really going through a process at the moment. So yeah, I mean, sorry.
It's a whole journey that you're on, really, isn't
I'm
it?
on a whole journey. So yeah, I'm really sort of into the holistic health and the forest bathing, and then I'm really a big advocate for frequency and energy medicine. So the future is light and sound medicine. You know, that's what Einstein said, and Tesla. If you want to know the secrets of the universe, to think of energy, frequency, and vibration. So that's kind of where I'm at with it all. And when I was with Nikken, before they stopped distributing in Europe, so I learned a lot about the water and about Dr. Emoto, that actually, you know, our thoughts can really affect the water and the structure of the water, and therefore, you know, we are water, so we need to be careful of our thoughts. So I learned all about signaling and information and traveling through our body through water. And yeah, I'm just like, you know, I just love being in nature. I'm a sun worshipper, right? So just the story about how I got into all this and the technology side. So obviously I'm in some nature connection, you know, this kind of field anyway. And I got a message in my Facebook saying, we know you work with the light. Would you be interested in this? Have a look at the link. Or the Nikken team, because we don't distribute now in Europe. We found something really unique that we're going to be starting. Would you like to join? And I just looked at the link for 1 minute, and it said activate your own stem cells with your own light. And I'm like, light? Yes, I work with light. I'm a sun worshiper. Everything's sun. And just went yes. That just like that. It really resonated, and I didn't really know why at the time. But yeah, I mean, when we say technology is what you're saying, it's basically enhancing what our bodies already do naturally. So if I go to talk about the technology in that case, I mean, basically, it's the process is if you imagine you go to the if you're looking at the sun, you're out in the sun, your body produces vitamin D, naturally. I mean, we all know we feel really good after being in the sun. You know, after about 15 minutes, we feel better, don't we? So that feeling of our body actually produces vitamin D, and that's a process called phototherapy or photobiomodulation, which is a chemical reaction in our body. It's just, you know, our bodies do this kind of thing. So this technology uses that process to have a particular reaction, to help our body do what we do naturally. Instead of using the light from the sun, we use the light from inside us.
Right.
So we emit light, and
Yes.
this is, you know, not many people, that was a big revelation to me, you know, not too far away. And then I actually read Barbara Wren's book called Cellular Awakening: How Our Body Holds and Creates Light, and that's a great book. There's a whole chapter on it.
Right.
So the more we can hold and create light, the more conscious we are in our it's just
That's who wrote
it's a
that
whole
book? Sorry, Deborah. Who wrote the
yeah.
book?
It's called Cellular Awakening, and it's called How Your Body Holds and Creates Light
Yeah.
with Barbara Wren.
Barbara Wren. Okay.
Yes, and she's a nutritionist, and yeah, she was the founder of the College of Natural Nutrition. I found out that these patches, I'm going to show you now. This is what they look like. You actually stick them on your body. There's nothing entering your body at all. It's what it is. It's an organic substance in a non-transdermal patch.
Okay. Now say that again to me.
Yeah.
It's an organic substance in
Yeah.
a
So there's lots of. It's made of a proprietary blend of water, sugars, and amino acids,
yeah.
which forms a lattice structure inside this patch. But there's nothing, you can stick it on, but it doesn't touch. You know, there's nothing that enters your body at all. It's non-transdermal.
Yes.
So what it does, it reflects back your own natural light. So you know, we emit light, heat, and it reflects it back into your body at a certain frequency.
Okay.
So
That's the science bit, isn't it?
This is the science bit. So that it's a very innovative invention by a man called David Smith, who's actually an engineer. He studied nature and also the Bible, and found all these sort of different codes about frequency. He looked at lobsters, you know, why lobsters live for so long, and all these kind of things. He identified specific frequencies that then had different chemical reactions. And the particular one that we talk about the most is it activates a chemical reaction and creates a copper peptide, GHKCU, which if you look that up on the internet, that was research. Well, that was found in about 50, in the 70s by Dr. Laurent Picard, and he done 53 years of research into what the copper peptides were basically, and how they helped our bodies. So it's all about our brain, all the neurological stuff, our heart, our skin, just everything. It's all about anti-aging and reversing aging as well. So if you look up copper peptides, particularly GHKCU, it's a protein that then turns into an amino acid and all that kind of thing. It's basically you can read about it in How to Reverse Aging: A Comprehensive Guide to Copper Peptides, and it's by Dr. John Harmon. So that's a summary of his work, as well as bringing in David Smith's work as well. And yeah, so this particular copper peptide activates your stem cells. And so what's so interesting is that, well, I didn't realize, we will get older, I know that, but I didn't realize the reason is because, one of the reasons is because our stem cells become more dormant as we grow older. So by the time we're 60, we don't have many active at all. And therefore that's why it takes longer for us to heal. And you know, if we fall down, we're not going to get up like we used to, kind of thing. So you know, I'm approaching 60 soon, so I'm thinking, you know, my mom died at the age of 62, right? So I've always thought, right, you know, what can I do more about my
Longevity.
health and prevention, but also, you know, I want to. I've got a lot to give in the world. You know, I want to live to 120. So, you know, I do yoga and I do lots of things to help my me. So I thought this is great. You know, how can adding, you know, 30 years extra on my life. You know, that was quite life changing to even think, have that mindset shift.
Yeah.
Anyway, the science behind it is, you know, it activates these dormant stem cells, which then over a period of time helps your body heal and get back into balance. So they're supportive patches that it really is like stem cells, a holy grail of healing.
Mm.
You're discovering the fountain of youth. And yeah,
Is
there
that
are
how it works?
different patches for different, you know,
Okay.
there are different wavelengths which
Yes.
which have different chemical reactions. So there's a detox one.
Yes.
There is yeah, the daughter one, which is for strength and stamina. But yeah, it's basically everything. So for
So,
me,
Yeah, I was going to
yeah,
ask you, Deborah, you've been using these. Now, once you
yeah,
discovered it, you were all in because for you, it was something that you could use that was going to work with you. And not only that, but you actually became so fascinated about the whole process you've just explained there, and the technology and the new thinking and all of that kind of thing, and the fact that it's non-invasive
yeah,
healing and
exactly. Yeah,
wellness, holistic
yeah.
approach. But tell me, what was your experience of it? How did
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, why I liked it for me was because it was easy. You know, I could put it on in the morning, 12 hours on, 12 hours up, and then off. So I didn't have to spend time doing it. So it's every day. And yeah, initially, there were just like small, very, very subtle changes. But within a month, I felt much more sense of well-being and calmness in my body. A little bit more of a sort of sense of joy that's coming up as well. 6 weeks, I had this funny sort of white spot underneath my eye that was really like a horrible sort of fatty spot, which basically I'd had for 2 years. It had never gone. I thought, oh God, I've got to go to the doctor and get it out. It just sort of disappeared.
ah,
And I just, what if it's doing something like that on the outside? What's it doing on the inside?
mm,
Um, so yeah, my body my chest feels younger.
okay.
So that's very interesting. Some lines on my cleavage that I've got quite self-conscious about have disappeared. Um, I have a bit more robustness and resilience. I can recover quicker, and I don't have so many colds that I used to. And actually, I have got a cold right now. Since the first one since I started, I've had quite a challenging week. So I've been really, really busy.
Mhm.
But what I've recognised is that my cognitive function is so much better. I used to have brain fog
Yes.
and fatigue, didn't I? And I'm just able just to go through and flow with those sort of challenges a little bit more. So yeah, that I'm really happy about that. So
Uh-huh.
my resilience, being able to bounce back a bit better, and maybe stop from having those little colds.
And these
Um,
are the things that we
yeah,
kind of sometimes just say, oh, very often you hear people coming along at sort of, as you say, you're approaching 60, it's to be expected of my age, or, Asha, look, it's just a bit of old age or whatever. And we kind of write things off. But what you're actually saying is with the right approach,
yeah,
and yeah, and I'm going to say whether it's your light waves approach or Hillary's breathing breath work, Mary's sound bath, but if you explore these approaches, that there's a possibility of really rejuvenating ourselves, or at the very least maintaining our youthfulness as long as possible,
yeah,
um because you have had people say to you that they thought that you looked much younger and kind of more energetic, I suppose, greater
yeah.
vitality,
Yeah,
perhaps.
I prioritize it, and
Yeah.
it's everything. We don't just have, it's a tool in my toolbox.
Yes. Yeah.
And it is a mindset thing as well.
Yeah.
And diet and everything, and how you think, and what have you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's the thought that I'm resetting my genes to a younger, healthier state within 24 hours of putting it on.
Yes.
Um, and so yeah, it's
Very-
upregulates your genes, and so one of the genes is the activates the copper peptide. So I'm just thinking, well, that's great, and then as it compounds, so these stem cells will go to where your body needs it the most,
Okay.
and priority order. It's not like you've got to say, okay, I need to work on my shoulder. It might be they might want to go somewhere else. They're very systematic in the approach. And so we've now got these active within 3 months to a year. They're completely activated and able to operate at a younger, healthy state. So your biomarkers are going to go down. This is what
That's
so
what we're
you
looking for.
actually can measure your age, and have the sort of your biomarkers saying you're 25. So that'd be good, wouldn't it?
I'm not going to say no to that. So Deborah, what do
Yeah.
people do if they're interested in following that line of
Yeah,
inquiry?
sure. Well, we have so the company is called LifeWave. So I'm a brand partner. So we have our team have regular calls on a Tuesday. Well, actually, but we also do one on a Thursday at 7:00.
Yes.
So there's a good one that doesn't clash.
Yeah.
Just for half an hour, it's called a patch party. You can win something. You can win a whole free sachet, which is £100 worth of stuff. So come on, ask questions. There's a little presentation by Dr. Stacey, who's functional and integrative doctor as well. Just to meet people, or just reach out to me, and we can just have like a little consultation, just to see,
Yes.
to explore it further, really. So I'll share the links, and I'll share
Yes,
more,
yes.
because we've got a great website with all the research, it's all clinical studies.
Okay.
There's
So
plenty of
people can do their own research before they come.
Yes, I would. I send out some things.
So what's the name of the company or the website page that people need to go to?
Yeah, so let me just put it in here.
Oh,
It's startx39now.com. But I can put it in the chat.
Yes, thank you. Follow that line of inquiry.
Yeah, so that's a good one.
Okay. Lovely. Okay, I'm going to leave that there for a moment. Does anybody have any questions for Deborah? There's a few people who have to go now. This is why we're trying
Yeah, sure.
stuff, which is great. And can I just say, and forgive me, Deborah, this is to do with Lynn's breathwork. Angela has said connected breathwork on Zoom Sundays at 10 a.m. with Pat DeVilly. You can book on his website. It's amazing. Anybody who's interested wants to follow that. I'm sure that would be something that you could to. And Deborah's link is there as well. And those of you who were listening to Mary, it was Elke Sheehy, ELKE SHEEHY, Elke Sheehy's sound bath therapy, which is in Greystones in Dublin. You might want to look into that. Look, I'm going to put the links underneath when we put up the YouTube of this on the Wise and Ageless Goddess YouTube site, and all of the details will be there for everybody then as well. Deborah, thank you so much for coming and tell us. It's wonderful to hear what the kinds of developments that are occurring.
Yeah.
I reckon in about 10 or 15 years time, and I know Dr. Mark Hyman has written a book, Younger Forever or something like that. I can't remember what it is. And he says that if we can manage to get ourselves healthily through another 10 years, we have the great likelihood of actually maintaining great health up until, as you say, 120. I think some people are kind of going, no, I'm doing fine, thank you very much. But if you can maintain good health and good
health, yeah, exactly, be strong. Yeah.
So look, thank you again very much for coming and speaking with us this evening. And I know that you've been very busy. You were very good to come in there and come and talk to us as well.
Pleasure. Thank you.
One thing towards the end, we've got 3 cards. I know some of you are dying to go. We're just going to do, speaking of light, Keepers of the Light deck from Kyle Gray, whom I just love. Guys, Kyle Gray is awesome. Anybody who really wants to follow, any of those decks, just check him out. With regard to angels, light beings, masters, he's moved into kind of ascended masters and even sort of beings and that of other of the cosmos, we'll say. I'm going to take 3 cards. If you want to think of 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll just see what we've got here. Card number 1 is Kalima. Facing fear, facing fear. What was Lynn talking about? The peeling the layers of the onion. And this card, if you picked it, is saying major spiritual changes are unfolding. This is your chance to soar. Okay, so if you chose number one, facing fear, major spiritual changes are unfolding. This is your chance to soar. Seize the day with that one. Number two, those of you who picked number two, we've got Lord Shiva, and that's transcendence. Transcendence. It's very much in the keeping. And it's rise up, honor your inner force. Steps are being given. Dance with the universe. So opportunities are coming to you at the moment. Don't turn them away out of fear. Have a look at what's coming to you. It may well be opening a portal or a door to something totally new and unexpected in your life. And it might well be exactly what you need. And the final one, number three, is Commander Ashtar, a call to action. Take charge, lead by example, and walk your talk. So that's the card there. Commander Ashtar, take charge, lead by example, and walk your talk. Three great cards there. Look, I want to say thank you to everybody, to Mary, to Lynn, to Deborah, and for all of you who take the time out to be here. We really appreciate that. It's really good of you, and it does, it's very good for all of us to be here together. Please feel free to share any experiences that you're having, anything that you feel the rest of the group might be interested in hearing about, because you just never know what kind of door you open for other people. It may be exactly what they need. So thank you again, everybody, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. We've got Cecily Gilligan, author of Cures of Ireland and Folk Remedies and other things. Some of them are hilarious, some of them possibly work, but we'll have a good chat with her and we'll see what she has to say. Take care, everybody. Lots of love and good luck with everything that you're doing now. Have a great, happy St. Patrick's Day. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you again, everybody. Bye-bye.